Good morning, Dad.
Hey, hi.
Welcome back to our second ever Saturday morning father-daughter HVAC shop talk. We'll work on the title. You continue to be almost always right. Last week, my last question was a mystery attic noise situation. My gas furnace and hot water heater are in the attic. I hear a high-pitched whistle sound in the living room ceiling at 3 a.m. And you were bold and you made a bold prediction like, no, I don't think it is. I don't think it has anything to do with that.
I'm going to say it has nothing to do with the furnace and air conditioner. Have you ever had the smoke alarm do the beeping thing?
I sent your answer to the viewer who asked the question, and she comes back and she was like, yeah, we discovered the sound was coming from a spare CO detector with dead batteries.
Yeah.
It was unplugged, not attached.
Yeah.
They didn't even know that they had it. The noise was just bouncing off the walls.
Those will drive you crazy. It has done it enough times at my house that I do, like they suggest, change all my batteries, my 9-volt batteries and all my detectors at the same time because they won't go 2 years. You know, something will start beeping. And it is next to impossible to figure out, because one, you have to catch it. It's an intermittent thing. And then to catch it making the noise, it'll drive you crazy.
Okay, well, today I have a wide range of questions. They actually
Okay.
all kind of have to do with indoor air quality. Okay, so first question today, I thought was actually pretty interesting, talking about steam humidifiers. And so this viewer is asking, how does the indoor fan know when to come on when the humidifier is actually making steam?
Because the control says so. There's actually a unique control that goes with the steam humidifier that will call for the blower to run anytime there's a call for humidity. And so it's very important that you do that. We do not want to introduce steam with no air movement into your ductwork. It's just going to condense moisture inside your ductwork. So we always want air movement and when we introduce the steam. So the control will have to do that. We really like using them with blowers that we run the blower all the time anyway. If you do not have a blower that we utilize that way, you want the control to be wired properly so it brings the blower on with it.
This question kind of goes along with it. We had another video that Matt and I did a couple of years ago on the differences between bypass power and steam humidifiers.
Right.
And this person is asking, on the bypass, Matt said that one of the cons of the bypass humidifier was that it wastes water, quote unquote. He says it's basically 4 parts water, 1 part humidity. So the viewer is asking, where does that go that causes the waste? And then he goes on to ask, the power humidifier seems to have a relatively small fan or blowing capacity. How is it expected to generate enough force to regulate the entire house? Aren't they all steam generators? That is to say, isn't what you distinguish as the steam humidifier principally the same as the others, but just with a higher volume of steam output? So
yes.
What say you?
Well, first of all, with the wasting water, and what he's referring to is on both the bypass and the power humidifier. We have a solenoid valve that dribbles water down through the humidifier, but we do not evaporate 100% of that water. So there is some loss. It's just literally a dribble of water that eventually ends up down a drain hose and ends up near your floor drain. And so there is a loss there that the steam humidifier doesn't have. The steam humidifier is literally a canister where we're boiling water to produce the steam. There's a little bit of waste with the steam humidifier in that it flushes itself from time to time, but the other two, whenever it's operating, it is sloughing a little bit of water off. That's kind of one of the indicators on whether it's working or not, is it sloughing water off. The fan on the power humidifier, you are correct. The fan on the power humidifier is no bigger than this right here. It's just a little propeller fan. And what it's made for is the humidifier typically is installed on the supply duct, which has a positive pressure. And what that little propeller is really just made to be able to overcome the pressure of the duct, where it takes air out of the supply duct, runs it through the humidifier, and then reintroduces it back into the airflow. Okay. And so that propeller blade is not meant to move air from one end of the house to the other. It's literally just taking air out of the duct and putting it back in. Now, when we do that, the humidity is going to seek its own level. The air is like a giant sponge, and it's always going to move from high humidity to low. So if the humidity is lower in a certain area, that's where the moisture's is going. And so we really aren't using a fan to move anything from one corner of the house to the other. It's really, we're just introducing it to the airflow and it equalizes on its own. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And then finally, let's see, the last one was generating steam. Well, what we're doing is we're evaporating moisture. So we're turning it into a vapor. So if you want to call that steam, we're kind of using steam as interchangeably here. Steam, I'm personally referring to steam as when we're boiling water, making steam.
Right.
The others are evaporating moisture to make vapor. We're making vapor. We're turning that water, that solid water, into a vapor.
Okay.
I guess we're making steam. That's kind of like making steam, but not really.
So this question, interesting. They are asking, we installed a Nest thermostat, and as soon as we did, the AC quit working. And in fact, it gives off heat through the vent and gives off a hot smell. Any advice?
Yeah, that's we installed a Nest thermostat and bad things started happening after that. We've obviously miswired the thermostat. Not wanting to offend anybody, but we better back off and let's call a professional. It's miswired for the air conditioner not to be working. There's something amiss there. Smelling something burning is really a bad sign. So let's hope that it's nothing too serious. But it's time to call in a professional. You'll end up saving money in the long run. We don't want to mess anything up. It's good that you can do simple things where we can, but something got tripped up here.
And if I could add a little bit, just as a HVAC customer service lady.
Yeah.
If you call a heating and air conditioning company, be totally upfront about what the problem is.
Right.
Don't just be like, yeah, my air conditioner isn't coming on. Don't do that. I would say, like, I tried to install a thermostat. I think that something is miswired, because you want that company to send out a very skilled technician. So you want them to send out the right person. I would definitely be straightforward and insane.
And you'll save time and money if they are prepared for a Nest thermostat. There's certain things you could be sure and have on the truck in anticipation of getting things fixed up. So
exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. Oh, this is on adjusting dampers. Why does air still come out of the vents that the damper controls if I have the damper closed? Shouldn't the vent controlled by the damper have no air coming out if the damper is closed?
Yes, to a point. These dampers typically are just sheet metal dampers made in the field. Most of them are just made in the field. So they aren't 100% airtight, so air can get past them. We kind of use it to add resistance to the ductwork to kind of force air in the directions we want it to go. So if it's like, I don't see any difference at all whether I have the damper open or closed. Obviously, there's a problem with it. We might want to get in there and just see, did they really make a very good damper? Does it seal up as best we can? Understand there's always going to be gaps around the damper and it'll leak a little bit unless we really go to a canvas. We actually have a canvas damper that we can put in that will, it's almost like it's got a seal around it, where we have to shut everything off. But it's never going to be 100% with a sheet metal damper, but you should be feeling a difference though. So
right. So this one is on the OxyQuantum UV system. Mm-hmm. They say they have an OxyQuantum UV system that came with their house. Hasn't been used in a long time. They bought replacement bulbs, which I installed. The monitor light goes on when I plug it in, but immediately goes out. Is there a reset button? And can I purchase an operator's manual? One didn't come with the house.
I'm not aware of a reset button. They didn't really, in this question, they didn't mention whether the UV light is coming on at all. So I'm going to say we have a power problem there. But as far as the owner's manual, which does have some troubleshooting guides in it, take a picture of what looks like an ID tag on it, and I will do my best. I should be able to find you a owner's manual. We've got a number of them on file for our technicians to access, things like that. So right. we can help you.
Okay, cool. Okay, last question. This is on a humidifier problem. The light on the humidifier is off. The switch is on, and I can't find any breakers off on the breaker box. When I push the on button, nothing happens.
Okay, and I'm assuming they're talking about a steam humidifier. It's the only one that I know of that has power buttons and lights and things like that on it. And so I don't want to get in over your head, but it sounds like you do have a power problem here. You really don't know until you have a voltmeter to really know for sure what's going on. So I would, if you don't have one, let's call a technician in, because it sounds like you've got a power problem. From what you're telling me, that switch, I'm assuming, is if you go to the video where we were at your house, Andrea, we put in a double pole switch, like a service disconnect switch. So a voltmeter and the proper experience is going to be the one way to know whether things are working the way they should, and help you identify a breaker somewhere.
Okay, cool. Well, that's all my questions. What's going on at 1 hour this week? Anything good?
Yes. So we have a home that has two smaller systems, conventional systems, and we are going to take the two out. It's time to replace them. So rather than replace two of everything, we're putting in one of everything, and we're going to add a zoning control that we are going to control these two separate areas via zoning controls, thermostats and dampers, rather than having double equipment in the home and operating at like two independent systems. So one humidifier, one UV light, two thermostats.
That's going to be nice for the homeowner, because if they were operating with two systems, like that's just a lot of extra expense. If
over
the same
time
could be
over time it adds up that you literally have double everything. So many times we'll put in since it's just one furnace, one air conditioner, a lot of times we'll put in higher efficiency equipment and equipment that's able to stage on where we can operate at a fraction of the full capacity. So run it at half speed and kick it up to 100% when we need to. Yeah.
So much is possible with zoning.
Oh yeah. You'll love it.
Oh, we love ours. Oh my goodness. I swear I have my two zones in my house are never doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just so much more comfortable this way.
So much more comfortable. And how hard was it?
Well, for me, it was incredibly easy. I just asked you to do it. Dad.
Makes the system operate so much more efficiently, and you are so much more comfortable in the home.
Yeah. So the day when you put the zoning system in my house, and I have a standard 2-story house with a basement, you made 2 zones in my house. So how long did that take you?
I'd say I did a little bit of it one day and a little bit of it the second day, but really one day to get it all done. We had a little bit extra. I had to pull some wire up to your second floor. Your home actually had some accommodation for that, which made it easier than it normally is.
Robert and Paige still talk about, they point to my closet and they say that's where Grandpa works.
Yeah, up there.
Because you were coming out of the attic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Dad. We will see you next Saturday.
Next Saturday. We'll see you
and
next
if
week.
anybody has any HVAC questions, leave them below and we'll take a look at them.
The father-daughter heating and air conditioning troubleshooting
Saturday morning team. We need a better title, but I'll keep working on it. All right.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Dad.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.